Hey guys, how's it going? Today we're going to be viewing a battle between myself in charge of the forces of the Wood Elves up against Reven Shan representing Clan MG and the High Elf Legions. Should be a good game of who has the pointiest ears, and we're going for a very traditional Wood Elf style of play. And as you can see, we're already doing some damage to this enemy noble, and that is because we have triple way watchers. Now this is an incredibly common pick. These guys do incredible burst damage straight out of the gate, and are some of the best archers in the game. However, they're incredibly expensive and do not have the greatest amount of ammunition either, so you have to protect them and hop on top of those key targets. Just behind them, protecting them, we do have some Sisters of Thorn who have been chevroned up slightly. One of my favourite cav units, the more and more I've got into Total War Warhammer, simply because of their utility. They're a great harass unit, very fast and relatively resilient as well, but they come with the Curse as well as Shield of Thorns, gives them fantastic map-wide control abilities. Now for our main battle line, we have gone, standard, cheap, cheerful, Eternal Guard of Shields. I'm expecting a lot of archers and enemy spearmen and the like, and these guys can trade relatively effectively and a pretty solid troop all round. Backing them up, we do have double War Dancers with Azrai Spears. So we have one in the back pocket here and one just hidden in the trees in case my enemy was looking to push very quickly with Cavalier and Reavers and the like on top of my way watchers. Now, War Dancers with Azrai Spears are incredibly fast as far as infantry goes, 46 speed. Have some incredibly cool attack animations as well as unit models. These guys are badass as hell. They do come with Woven Mist as well to give them some nice missile resistance, as they are very lightly armoured. But I'm expecting Dragon Princes, Cav and all that type of stuff, so these guys should be pretty damn useful. We do have a Spellsinger of Life on foot as well, coming with Earthblood and Awakening Wood. Then up in the sky, to go with that kind of traditional Wood Elf style of play with the Way Watchers, is the Glade Lady on the fabulous Forest Dragon. Coming in with Prey of Enough Rama, which of course you drop the prey on an enemy, which gives them minus 22 missile resistance and they can't move, and then you hit them with the Way Watchers. It's a standard tried and true tactic. Also coming with the Arrows of Kurnos in case there is a Wild Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower pick, as well as of course the Dragon Breath. Now for my opponent today, he's gone for a Hero Court, which is incredibly common with High Elves. So he's got Double Noble on Eagle this time, which is pretty interesting. Normally you see these guys on Chariots, but they're going to have a ton of extra mobility here, which is always key up against the Wood Elves. And Teclis on top of his mighty Phoenix, who is incredibly annoying to kill and comes in with a ton of winds and magic, partly down to the Sword of Teclis here. Also been coming with Bound, Fiery Convocation, of course his potions, Regrowth just to keep all of these nobles healthy, Flock of Doom and Net. Now for his main battle line, he does indeed have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units of Silvering Guard. These guys have pretty decent magic resistance, missile resistance, all that good stuff. Well, not missile resistance, sorry, but they do come in with the Silver Shields, Expert Charge Defense, very good up against the Wood Elves, and coming in with double archers as well as some Lothran Sea Guard, and one unit of Illyrian Reavers hidden in the forest. So a pretty competitive pick overall. I mean, it should, in theory, on paper, do relatively good. Silvering Guard, very good up against most of the Wood Elf infantry, and can fight their large monsters, of course being shielded. Cheap archers as well tend to trade effectively up against the more expensive Wood Elf ones, and a nice Hero Court, which he can indeed heal. So he's going to be falling back at this point, trying to take the high ground and make Obi-Wan Kenobi proud, as doesn't want to be fighting in the trees, which is of course understandable. We're just going to be pushing up for the most part in the trees at the moment. He does come forward with Teclis. He's going to be strafing back and forth, trying to get me to waste my ammunition. So I do realise this relatively quickly, and instead we decide to start shooting down at some other units instead, and switch these guys to come off fire at will. You actually want to kind of click and choose what you target with them. So up comes the Glade Lady as well. Now she's going to have a hard time securing the air dominance of the battlefield here. Double Noble and Teclis is certainly going to be a little bit of trouble for her. She should be able to take them on one-on-one, of course. But if she gets isolated up against all three, it could be a bad time. So we do push up our Way Watchers pretty aggressively here, and the trap is sprung. Illyrian Reavers do start to burst from the trees. I did notice this a little bit early, luckily, and start moving up the Sisters of Thorn as the Way Watchers do decide to fall back. But it looks like Teclis and the Nobles are coming in, and we're going to have a huge engagement here. So we do start moving up our main force. And a Net of Amtok does come down on the Way Watchers, but just before they get caught, in come the Sisters of Thorn for a headlong charge into those Illyrian Reavers. And with the Glade Lady coming in, should be able to do some huge damage. A Fiery Convocation is coming in, unfortunately, on these netted Way Watchers, which is again a really solid and quite common tactic here. We'll be absolutely roasting those guys and even going through my front line as well. So some great value out of the gate. And in come all the nobles plus Teclis plus a Flock of Doom. There's a crazy amount of damage going in as he's really trying to snipe out my Glade Lord and this unit of Way Watchers. However, in come the War Dancers of Azrai Spears with a Shield of Thorns attached as well. These guys will be absolute monsters up against the Noble and everything in this little core. We pulled back with our Way Watchers and started to focus down the Archer threat of the enemy, just to ensure that this stays as a melee engagement. Because at the moment, we're in a pretty good situation. Yes, we do have one unit of Way Watchers hooked up in here, but double War Dancers of Azrai Spears are doing an absolute number on these Nobles here. We do start pushing forward with the Eternal Guard as well, just trying to protect our Way Watchers where possible, before falling back with these guys out of range of the Silvering Guard. Glade Lady simply floating up in the skies for now, going to be trying to focus down some of these nobles and hunt down Teclis where possible. And Eternal Guard have pushed into the back line. 2 units holding up 3 units of Silvering Guard is pretty good value overall so far. Way Watchers are fleeing though, looks like one unit has become terrified and another one is making for the trees. But if I can drag Teclis into the trees, I'm pretty happy about that. As Eternal Guard will be fighting him here, and his stats of course are going to be muted, considering he's a large monster. He's now taking Way Watcher shots to the face as a Flock of Doom does go down. The Blade Lord does decide to fall back and start doing some decent cycle charging. Looks like one of the nobles did get broken here. It was incredibly low health, but regrowth does come down, and healing single entity monsters like this is incredibly powerful. Look, his health just absolutely rocket up here. Which is really horrifying stuff when you have to take down those monsters kind of again and again. Second noble here is starting to fall back after taking a bit of a beating as well. So we are going to be falling back with our War Dancers to the trees as fast as possible, knowing he's going to try and pressure my beloved Way Watchers in the back line. It looks like the Alien Room as well. Nice pick by my opponent here. It does realise my unit of Way Watchers who routed earlier have come back into the fray, and he's going to be hunting these guys down and running them over. And I just do not have the units to get over here and help protect. So great value for him overall. Teclis does unfortunately get routed here for my opponent, as he's simply not good enough to go up against a Glade Lady in hand-to-hand combat. But double noble are coming in. We have countered this with an Earthblood, and unfortunately some of our Way Watchers are tagged in here, but so are the Eternal Guard. The Eternal Guard are going to love fighting nobles all day. Sisters of Thorn pop a Shield of Thorns as well to help keep us all fighting, and once again in come the War Dancers. We're getting a nice rear attack actually into the Silvering Guards here, who do have a curse placed on them. These War Dancers want to be trying to get on the nobles as much as possible to help drag them down, and as you can see they're taking massive damage out of the gates. The Glade Lady was starting to chase Teclis as much as possible, getting those shots in, which makes her a pretty good hunter all round. However, another regrowth comes down on Teclis, so we decide to give up that little bit of a chase. We have managed to drag the main engagement into the trees, and if you are leading the force of Wood Elves, this is the best case scenario. A lot of your troops get buffs in the woods and enemies get debuffs and the like. So do come in and start slapping up this noble, who has been getting pulled down by the War Dancers here. And the noble, it looks like it is going to be able to escape, so I do net the healthier one and start moving my troops over to this angle. Looks like a big net is going to come down once again on my War Dancers here, and another Fiery Convocation is going to be coming into play. We do manage to notice this, however, and start moving the majority of our troops out of the way, so it only actually catches a few of the War Dancers. So that one a little bit more unlucky by my opponent. And the first eagle does go down. The Glade Lady hunting him down, and she can fire on the move, does shoot him up the behind with a magical arrow, and down that first noble goes. So the route to air dominance is starting to go in my favour. The Sisters of Thorn, as well as a unit of War Dancers, do hunt down a noble who was routing here, trying our best to finish him off. He's pretty damn low on health. At this point I realise we do have this huge pocket of strength in the trees. My opponent is kind of moving in that direction, which is good for us. They have massively overextended with these War Dancers, so I'm going to take my time here and hunt down arch units and the like. A fantastic breath attack by us does catch some of these Lothran Seaguard, and then Arrows of Kurnos floats through the air and takes down the second noble. This Glade Lady is currently 2-0 in the aerial game, just Teclis to go. So in the back lines, War Dancers doing decent harass. You can even kind of use them like light cavalry to a point in the late game, coming in with their relatively quick speed, hunting down archers here, and we're going to then float around and just keep attacking at different ranged units. Eternal Guard pushing forward to Silvern Guard, just trying to hold them back as much as possible while the Glade Lady does do her job. Way Watchers once again kind of a little bit caught up here, but they're going to be a nice anvil, and the Glade Lady, the hammer, coming in and starting to break these relatively beat up Silvern Guard, who are terrified, and I do not blame them at all. Teclis desperately trying to float around and hunt down these war dancers, but honestly, if he lands, these ladies can do a huge amount of damage to him, so he's got to be a little bit careful. We have shattered some archers in the back line, as well as routing other units, and our Way Watchers are actually now focusing down the range units as much as possible to give me complete control of the map, and allow me to kind of dictate the battles I want to face, as we still have okay ammunition on our Way Watchers here. We do force off this unit of Silver and God, and a load of lovely shots going straight into the face of Teclis, and he is indeed going to be netted. I've had enough of this pesky wizard flying around and healing his troops, so we're going to net him in place, get 1 or 2 nice volleys off, but also come in with a massive fat breath attack straight to the back of the head there, doing some pretty awesome damage. He's now down to 2,000 health and very near his healing cap, which is pretty damn key. As for the rest of the battle, Silver and God trading very effectively up against the Eternal Guard, doing some decent work overall. It does take them a while to break down, but if we have a look at the whole map, like kind of worldwide, it's relatively even still, as a ton of Silver and Guard are pushing through, but we do own the mobility game, having taken down all his flying units, bar Teclis, who can't get too close to the battlefield at the moment, as the Glade Lady can simply beat him down every time he does come nearby. War Dancers in the back line still hunting down Lothran Seaguard, doing some decent job, up to 35 kills here, which is pretty impressive considering they've been hunting down large threats as well. Arazakonos does all connect with Teclis as well, force him away from the battlefield. I believe he does break for a second as well before coming back. We're going to be moving out of the safety of the trees with our Way Watchers, so a very interesting engagement comes here. We are pinned in a unit of Silver and Guard of Eternal Guard and rear charge with War Dancers. Then my opponent rear charges the original engagement as well, so pretty messy stuff overall. But as you see, decent ammunition left on these guys, coming with 13 volleys. We're going to be firing into the Silver and Guard, and yes, they have missile resistance and silver shields and decent armor and so forth, but Way Watchers will still drag you down. They are the best archers in the game, and completely pulling these guys apart, as the rest of our troops do hold them in position here. There's still quite a few healthy units dotted around the place. Teclis has managed to elude me once more. In the back line, War Dancers, are forcing off archers, and they'll be able to return it to the fray as well. My opponent trying to put a bit of pressure on from all angles now and hunt down the Way Watchers, coming from the trees as well as the open field, which is a good idea. But a lot of his troops are getting very beat up now, and the balance power does start to go a little bit in my favour. A lovely couple of volleys coming straight into the front of the Silver and Guard. You can see their health drop pretty damn quickly. We are out of ammunition, however, with 1 unit. All these guys did get a chevron, so they've certainly done some business. And these Silver Guard holding their shields and not focusing on the sky, and boom! A Glade Lady does come from above and absolutely crunch these guys, as more and more volleys do come into play. And they're getting beat up pretty damn bad now. It's also going to allow me to protect this back line. War Dancers haven't been used in the front line up against Silver and Guard. Isn't the best use of their abilities, but they're still decent melee combatants all round, coming with some obviously amazing swirls and twirls with those big old spears. They kind of remind me of like Oberyn Martell version of fighting. It's really badass. Teclis flies a little bit too close to the sun here, and the Glade Lady does arc a massive arrow all the way over and takes him down. That is 3-0 to the Glade Lady in the air game, which is pretty damn impressive. Way Watchers still loosing arrow after arrow into Silver and Guard, and it looks like with the balance power so heavily in my favour, the Glade Lady is simply going to terrify off all these poor high elf forces, and it looks like the Wood Elves are the elves with the pointiest ears in the game here, and Earthblood just helping to push up my Glade Lady's health, which is once again going to push the balance power in my favour. Silver and Guard desperately trying to rally to the cause, but we still have ammunition on our Way Watchers, and a hero and a lord fighting, which, you know, even a spell slinger in combat can do decent work. And we've got a big fat breath attack coming down, although I think it does actually decimate more War Dancers than it does Silver and Guard. That's what you get for fighting hard in the battlefield. You get roasted by your own dragon. And with one last rear attack, the High Elves do indeed shatter. So well played to my opponent there. That was an incredibly fun game and got pretty close at the end. So well played to Revan Shan there and his High Elf forces. It's an interesting choice going for the Nobles on Eagle, trying to win that air game instead of having them on chariots and so forth. But the single entity healing idea is, you know, tried and tested. It's a very good tactic and did, you know, pay dividends here. I basically had to kill one of the nobles twice and Teclis multiple times. But yeah, the Wood Elf force here I quite enjoy this build, honestly. I don't use Way Watchers as much as most Wood Elf players, but of course they certainly do pack a punch. And my main kind of favourite thing about them is your opponent puts so much effort into shutting them down, you can really make them pay for every time they do come in. He got a little bit over eager at the beginning, thought he may be able to catch out the Way Watchers here, and with the double noble maybe force off my dragon, but the War Dancers were just below MVPs, I think. They probably would have been MVPs in most games. 70 and 46 kills is impressive, considering the majority of the time they were hunting down nobles and techless, doing that consistent damage and really making them pay for every Waywatch they killed. But the MVP here has to be the Glade Lady, taking down 2 heroes as well as a Lord and getting 125 kills is pretty ridiculous stuff. Arguably the best basic Lord, so non-legendary Lord in the game. Very, very powerful stuff overall. Anyway guys, hope you did enjoy. If you did, please do feel free to subscribe for more Total War Warhammer content, as well as liking the video. Now, I'm going to be away next week, but I will still have videos coming up, so please do send replays into my Discord. Link can be found down in the description down below, as I'll be trying to cast double the amount as usual this week, and then just uploading them next week whilst I am on the road. So anyway guys, until next time, peace. And as always, stay awesome.